Get a large mixing bowl, put in 3 cups of muesli, like good quality muesli. This is a berry muesli. It's got some cranberries, blueberries, strawberry and buckwheat, so it's a really good mix of muesli. Then get 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and pour that in, and then we just want to mix together so it's nicely combined. Like I said, just mix this together, and what you want to do is preheat your oven to about 160 degrees Celsius, which is 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's heated, you pop it in there. Now put this in a baking tray, or I'm putting mine in a cake dish with a push-up base just to make things a bit more enjoyable and less of a hassle. Alright, that is done. Now just leave it in here for 10 to 15 minutes to cool. Take it out, cut it into pieces, as long as it's not too soft. Cut it into pieces, then let it set completely. Give it an hour in the fridge. You can store it in an airtight container for weeks. This is really yummy. There you go. Still a little soft, easy enough to cut, but good enough to stay together. So you can cut it however you want. Start from the middle, start from the side, wherever. Cut them into whatever size pieces you want for a muesli bar. So we'll just, maybe I'll start here. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, oh, get out of it. Ah. Now just cut it into the slices that you want. Once you've cut these into pieces, just put them in the fridge to let them set for about half an hour to an hour. If you like them chewy, just start eating fairly soon. If you want them crunchy, leave them in the fridge. Fridge? In the fridge. Well, I hope you like these. Oh, how good are these? Alrighty then, now for this just get about 400 to 500 grams of chicken breast. Just cut them up into little pieces. Then melt about a tablespoon or so of butter. Pour that in and just mix it around so they're all coated. I get something like a snap lock bag. Put in about half a cup or so of breadcrumbs. Then add some parsley, just dried. However much you want. I'm putting in probably about 1 to 2 teaspoons. Then get some paprika, the sweet kind. Put that in, about a teaspoon or so of that. Then add about half a teaspoon of thyme, which is probably equal to about 2.5 minutes. Now get your chicken pieces and chuck them in the bag. Just seal it, and then we want to shake until they're all completely covered. Alrighty, they're done. Oh yeah. Now just get a baking tray. Something, because we're going to put these in the oven. So you just place them on the baking tray, or I'm using this silicone doobie whacker. And what you want to do is turn your oven on to 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your oven's heated up and these are all on here, pop them in here. They'll take about 20 to 25 minutes to be done. Oh, these are so yummy. Well, I hope you like these. Oh yeah. Get a saucepan and add half a cup of sweetened condensed milk and 100 grams of butter. Now turn the heat to low, and we just want to melt this. Now while that's heating up, we'll get on to the next part. I'll get 4 crunchy bars. Each one of these I think weighs 50 grams. So we want 200 grams roughly. Now I'm going to crush this while it's in here with a rolling pin. Yeah, come here you. Yeah, you like that? I get a food processor, get these cookies, biscuits. Marie, you want 200 grams of this. Now we want these to be crushed to fine crumbs. Now I'll get a mixing bowl, put in the fine crumbs, and just add the crunchy bars. Yummy chocolate with honeycomb. Oh yeah! Now add the melted butter with sweetened condensed milk. Now mix this together till it's well combined. Oh, yummy! Oh. I get a baking tray, baking tin, something, grease the bit. I use one with a push-up base because it just makes life a lot easier. Now how big you want this really depends on how high you want the slice to be. Just put it in there. And oh, I'll tell you what, if YouTube had smell-o-vision, then it would smell. Now flatten it down. Now just pop this in the fridge until it is set. It should take probably an hour or so and it'll be ready. I'll get about 200 grams of milk chocolate. Now melt this. If you're going to melt it in the microwave, just chuck it in there for 30 seconds, give it a stir, another 30 seconds, give it a stir on high until it's melted. Now just pour the melted chocolate over the top. Oh yeah. And just move it around so it spreads everywhere. Now just put it back in the fridge until it's set, take it out, cut it up, eat until the cows come home, do a dance, and you'll be happy. Now you want to add 5 eggs. Without shells. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mush up 2 ripe bananas. Add that. Add half a cup of coconut flour. I'm using organic coconut flour. Now add about 1/4 cup of coconut oil. You want it to be softened a little bit. Now if you don't want to use coconut oil, you can use butter. You can use butter. And add a teaspoon of baking soda. Now get a baking tin, for cupcakes or muffins, grease it and put the mixture in. Now we just heat this in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. We just want it to be lightly browned on top and set in the middle. Now leave them here to cool down before you take them out and eat, unless you're into burning your mouth. Some people are into that. Now this is optional. You can put a bit of cinnamon sugar on top. Get a mixing bowl, put in 4 eggs. Add 1 cup of sugar. Now just beat this until it's bubbly and fluffy. There you go, fluffy and bubbly. Now get a microwave safe bowl, chuck in about 200 grams of dark chocolate. Now chuck this in the microwave for about 30 seconds, give it a stir, then another 30 seconds, give it a stir, just repeating that process until it's melted. Now with your mixer just on low, start pouring the melted chocolate in. Now add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a cup of self-raising flour, and half a cup of either cocoa powder, dark cocoa powder, or raw cacao powder. I've added raw cacao powder. Just mix this in on low. Now get 2 avocados, about medium sized. Now just mush it down as best you can. We want this to be really smooth. If you can't get it really smooth with a fork or something, just do it as best as you can and then get a mixer and try and beat it into submission so it's smooth. Now get the avocado, add it straight in, mix it through. Now pour the batter into a baking tin, baking dish. I just use this because it's easier to put it in here with a push-up base. Take it out and then cut it. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook this for 30 minutes. Get a mixing bowl and get 4 Week-Bix, look like this, just crush them. If you want them in fine pieces, just put them in a food processor or whatever, but doing it like this I just think adds to the texture. Then add 1/4 cup of raw sugar. And then 2 more tablespoons. So about 1/3 cup in all. Then add 1.5 tablespoons of raw cacao powder. If you don't have that, you can just use cocoa powder. Add 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. Then melt 190 grams of butter. Now this is my own homemade butter. Very easy to make. I've got a video if you want to check it out. Now just mix this through. Now just roll them into balls and then flatten them down. and then put a little piece of dark chocolate. If you don't want to use dark, you can use milk chocolate. Dark chocolate is just better for you. And just put it straight in the middle and preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And this should only take about 15 minutes. Get a mixing bowl, put in about a cup or so of broccoli that you have steamed. You could boil it as well, I just prefer to steam it. Just cut it up into little pieces. Now chuck in 4 eggs. Now whisk all this together until it's nicely combined. You get a cupcake or muffin tin. Turn your oven on to about 190 degrees Celsius, which is about 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we just want to pour the mixture. Once you've greased these, of course, I should mention that. Pour this in. Now just get some cheese. As much as you want. Sprinkle it over the top. I'm using cheddar. Now pop these in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. Oh yeah. Alrighty then. These are so yummy, holy moly. Now just let them cool a bit before you take them out, then eat and enjoy. Well, I hope you like this. Ooh. Now for this, just get a mixing bowl and 1 medium banana that's quite soft already, and mush it. Now add half a cup of flax seeds. Just mix it together. Now just get a baking tray. Just put some on. Depends how much you want. And just flatten it. I use the underside of the glass. And once you've done that, just preheat your oven to about 160 degrees Celsius, which is about 320 degrees Fahrenheit, and bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now for this, get a food processor and chuck in 1 cup of almonds. Then chuck in 10 medjool dates, half a cup of almond meal, 1/4 cup of raw cacao powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then get 1 large orange and get the zest and the juice from it. Pour that in. Now process this. Now you just roll them into balls and place there. Now you can just have them like this, put them in the fridge for 20 minutes, or you can make a little healthy chocolate sauce, which I'm going to do, and we'll roll them in. In the bowl, put in 1/4 cup of raw cacao powder, 1/4 cup of coconut oil, and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Now just pop this in the microwave on high for 20 seconds. Now just mix this together. Now get the little balls, dip them in the chocolate. Now just put on a baking tray or whatever and pop them in the freezer for 20 minutes and then eat until the cows come home. Ho 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 ho. Aww. Now get a food processor and put in half a cup of cashews. Add half a cup of pumpkin seeds as well. And a quarter of a cup of desiccated coconut. Now we just want to blitz this. Now get a mixing bowl and put in 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Then add 1 cup of peanut butter. Then add a quarter of a cup of rice malt syrup. Looks like that. Then add 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder. Now pop this in the microwave for about 30 to 40 seconds. Now mix this together so it's well combined. Now add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Stir this through. Now add the dry ingredients. I'll just mix it together. Now get a baking tray or a cake tin or something, grease it, and just put this in there and just flatten it down. Now just pop in the fridge to set. Should only take about an hour or 2. Now get some sour cream, a couple of tablespoons worth, and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chives. I've just grabbed some from my garden so they're nice and fresh, and just mix them together. Get a plate, just get sour cream and chives mixture and spread it all over the plate. Now get a potato. Now you can peel the potato or you can just leave it on and peel it that way. I like to leave it on, and that's all you have to do is peel it like that. Peel as much as you want. You get the pieces you've cut up, place them like that. It's essentially like we're just marinating these in that, and then you put a little layer on top. I just leave it here for as long as you want. Usually 30 minutes to an hour is long enough for the flavour to seep in and just be awesome. Right, now that that's been sitting there, you can either leave this like that and put this straight in the microwave, turn the microwave on for 90 seconds on high, then flip them all over, put it back in for another 90 seconds on high, or you can take all of these off on a fresh plate and just give the plate a light spray with oil, and just do that for the same time, 90 seconds each side on high. Alrighty then, now leave these here for about 3 to 5 minutes to cool, and they will crisp up, and then eat, and make as many batches as you want. I hope you like these. Maybe I'll try this one. Now for this, really simple. Just get a medium-sized sweet potato, which will be about 400-500 grams. Peel it and then grate it. And then you want to squeeze out as much of the juice as you can. Then chuck this in there. Now you can add various seasonings to this, salt, pepper, various other things if you want. I'm just going to add just a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, 1 egg, just lightly beaten, and just a couple of tablespoons of plain flour. Just stir this through. You can use your hands if you find that's easier. Get a frying pan, chuck in some oil, decent amount, not not just a drizzle, and get this really going, smoking. That's what we want. Get these, chuck them in there. Oh yeah. Well, I hope you like these. Oh yeah. Now for this, get a baking tray and a bunch of kale. Luckily, this is kale from my garden. I have kale growing all over the place. Unfortunately, probably most of the kale I have growing is, well, it's been attacked by little green caterpillars. But this is one that hasn't been. I managed to protect it. So we just want to pull off any stems that are in there. We don't need these, stuff like this. How much you put in is entirely up to you. Now get some coconut oil, like a big amount, put it in there, and we just want to, I don't know, massage it. Massage it, I guess, is the best term. So once it's coated in the coconut oil, now get some salt. I like to use pink Himalayan rock salt. Now I'll get some ground cumin, just sprinkle that over it. Now I'm not giving you actual amounts just because it's really up to you. You know, I'd probably put in, as far as salt goes, equivalent to, I don't know, 1 or more tablespoons. Cumin, however much you want, tablespoon of that. And some sumac, sprinkle that in. Then you want to throw in some herbs. I want to give this like a really, you know, vibrant flavour. So things like some parsley. I've just cut up some parsley from my garden. So just chuck that in there, just all over the place. Once again, how much is up to you. Also chives. I've cut up a heap of chives from my garden. This part is going to really give it a real kick of flavour. These are chocolate mint leaves, so they smell and taste like mint and chocolate. So just chuck that in there. If you don't have these or can't find them, just some regular mint. Just experiment with various herbs that you like. You can just leave this on top like that, or just mix it through. Now turn your oven on to 80 to 90 degrees Celsius, which is about 160, 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Pop this in there. Should take about 40 to 50 minutes. Well, I hope you like these. Oh, that's too good. See you next time for my next meal. Simple cooking.